Right, good evening, everyone. We're here for the first of 3 live prediction shows. Last bit of content before the Madness kicks off in Times Square on Friday nights on SW Fight Hub. Anyway, the boys will be over on JFT tomorrow for straight talk, of course. Notice JFT down the bottom's been putting out a bit of content today as well. Good on you, sir. Jay's got a friend in the back as well. Say hello to the
Rosie. That's JFT's
Rosie.
original dog, Rosie.
There you go. New mascot for the channel. That'll bring the views up.
Well, Mabel's already been on, hasn't she? So Rosie wanted in on the action.
Oh, I love it. Feeling left out.
Yeah.
Where was I anyway? Martin Bakole, that's where I was at. Martin Bakole's fighting Efe Ajagba on this Canelo card then in Riyadh on Saturday. Interesting fight. Obviously, this one's been known about for a while now. It was initially slated for the Times Square card, I think, on Friday night, but it was moved to Riyadh. Probably a sensible decision, in fairness, to do so. Bakole, last time out, sort of 2-ish months ago, not that long, all 10 weeks or something since Joe Parker dispatched of him in 2 rounds or so, or 4 minutes, Jay, as we spoke about last night. So interesting to see how he looks. Obviously, I'm anticipating he turns up in much better nick and much better fighting condition than he did in February, where he, in Eddie Hearn's words, got on a flight from the Congo in a pair of skinny jeans to Riyadh. Last time out for Efe Ajagba, split over Guido Vinello's just lost to Richard Torres, hasn't he? Which was around about a year ago. From what I can see here. So he hasn't been overly active himself, Ajagba. But it's a good fight on paper, boys. I'll come to you. Big up, Luca. Thanks for watching as always, mate. I don't believe Martin be affected by the stuff. It possibly could the money. Yeah, that's a fair point, Luca. I agree with that. But yeah, give me your thoughts, both of you boys.
As I said when we spoke on and off camera, it just depends where his mind's at. He's had life-changing money. His life's completely turned and changed since getting beaten up, basically. He's now a considerably wealthier man than he was 3 months ago. His motivation's going to be slightly different. I'm not saying he's not motivated by success, but ultimately they're motivated by the prize and the money. And if he's got his head on and he's not affected by the knockout loss, then he'll smash Ajagba. He'll get past his jab and will just overload him like he did with Hunter until Hunter Anderson, until Anderson couldn't take it anymore. And I believe he'll do similar to Ajagba. Ajagba's not that good going backwards. He's a bit robotic. But, it all depends. That first footing right hand that hits Bakole, we'll know how he reacts to that, how the fight's going to play out. If he shells up, then I worry for him. And could see him getting outpointed. But I don't believe it'll be affected by it. He has lost before, not as dramatically as that, but he has been beaten up before. And I think he'll be all right. And I see him stopping Ajagba in under 6 rounds.
Yeah, go on, Liam. Sorry, I'll go. Big up to Lloyd in the chat as well. Thanks for joining us, Lloyd. If FA wins, I think if he wins, Lloyd, he'll stop Bakole. I think that's his path to victory. But go on, Liam. I'll let you give your pick.
Yeah, look, I think it's very similar to what Jay said and what we said last night and off camera. Recency bias is a massive thing in boxing. We talk about it all the time. The talk around Bakole this week is completely different to what it was when this fight was first touted. So that Parker fight in the middle, it doesn't matter that there's a massive skinny jeans asterisk next to it and he turned up in the shape he turned up in. People still have the last image they have of Martin Bakole is Billy Nelson tapping the referee on the shoulder and getting him out of there after Parker scrambled his senses inside 4 or 5 minutes, as we said last night. But the reality is this should be very similar to the Big Baby Anderson fight. Martin Bakole should be able to overwhelm Efe Ajagba and get a stoppage within the first 5 or 6 rounds. But as Jay said, has the money changed him? Has all of a sudden he thought, if that's what the boys are like at the top end, do I really want to go there, if that makes sense? We're going to find out a lot inside the first 30 to 60 seconds on Saturday night. If he's on it, I see it being similar to Anderson. 3 or 4 knockdowns before eventually Ajagba can't take any more. That's what I hope we'll see from him. However, as we've been asked by Lloyd here, if Bakole isn't on it, if Ajagba is going to have a shot, I think he stops Bakole probably after 4 rounds. If Bakole's cardio isn't the best, he's got 4 rounds in him and then he'll be done. So it wouldn't at all surprise me to see Ajagba take him out in the middle half of the fight. But the sensible money is on Martin between 5 and 7, and that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, I think with Bakole, he's great when he's on top, but when I'm not saying that he doesn't like it when the going gets tough, but what I'm saying is that Michael Hunter stuck it on him, Parker stuck it on him. I think that, in a 50-50 fight, I think, or a nip and tuck fight, like we saw with Eubank and Ben, that type of fight of the weekend, I think people could get the better out of him in those fights, but he's very good on the front foot when he's getting it his way. So, if Ajagba can draw him into a kind of, fight where it's you have a go, I have a go, that kind of thing. Although I'm not sure that's Ajagba's style, but if he can, he's got to stick it on Bakole, because if he lets Bakole have it his own way, especially early, and he gets in a rhythm like the Anderson fight and many other fights before that, then it's a problem for Ajagba. But I'm on Bakole winning this, boys. I think he'll start a little bit slower than maybe normal. I think maybe at the start of the second half of the fight he'll open up a little bit, and I think he'll break down and stop Ajagba sort of seventh round, something like that. But I do think it's dangerous for him.
He needs to be the boss. Bakole's no good if he's not the boss. If he's in charge, he's fine. Joshua's like that. Joshua's a bully, and I'm not saying he's a bully, but in the ring, he takes charge. The second he can't have it all his own way, he sort of reverts to type. I just think if he can take that first clubbing right off the back of the jab, he'll be fine. If he takes that all right, I think he'll boss his way through it and he'll overwhelm him eventually, and similar to what he did to Anderson, until Anderson can't get up from the knockdowns. I think there'll be 2 or 3 knockdowns in it until Efe can't get back up, and Ajagba eventually won't be able to get back up, or he'll get stopped.
I think with Martin and Billy as well, they can kind of, it's not a defeat where like they had a full camp against Parker and preparation was amazing and they got chinned in 2 rounds. So I think the confidence will still be kind of not where it was post Anderson, but it's not going to really shatter him because exactly.
Totally different mindset for this fight. He's turning up expecting to win. When he came to fight Parker, I don't care what anybody said, he turned up thinking he could win. There's a difference in that mindset, because he knew he wasn't fully prepared. There was a chance he could win, and he thought he was good enough to win. This time, we had all picked him to smash Ajagba to pieces 3 months ago.
Yeah, different.
It's only off the back of the defeat that we've changed the narrative. Not the narrative, but our sort of thoughts on the fight. We're a little bit apprehensive about just going whole hog. But look, if the same Martin Bakole turns up, it's a done deal, man. It's a done deal.
Yeah, I'm with you. There you have it then. Martin Bakole and Ajagba will be there for the watch along, probably at about 7 a.m. in the morning or whatever it is on Sunday morning for us. But we'll be there. Thanks to Jay and Liam, as always. Looking forward to this one. We'll be back shortly for Canelo and Skull. Thanks to Luca.